Well, welcome everybody. Welcome race fans. This is OBF1. This is Tier 1 tonight, and it's time to kick off our second season. I sound a bit different to your regular Tier 1 commentator. My name is Webbo. I'm normally your Monday multiplayer commentator, but I'm helping out a friend tonight. I'm helping out our league head, Pistol, who's been called into work, unfortunately, and decided earning money was slightly preferable to doing this job tonight for you guys. We're really looking forward to kicking off this new season in the new game. Joining me though in the commentary box, one of my friends and experienced F1 racer, Impossible Bacon, joins us in the commentary box. Hey Bacon.
Hey, this should be interesting going around France on the new game.
Absolutely. By some weird quirk of fate, I've just done another event in France on commentary, so certainly well practiced, and I think I'm going to have to lie down in a dark room after watching two races around Paul Ricard.
Should be the strategy mastermind after this.
So yeah, we will hopefully be getting going very soon. We've got nearly all our drivers arranged and ready. And it's yeah, we're getting there. So we're looking forward to seeing the mix of strategies. I've just seen a big mix of strategies going on with our previous race for a different league. And what's your preferred approach to racing around Paul Ricard?
On last year's, I haven't raced around France too much, but on last year's game, it was a soft hard strategy. I felt like it had like the right mix of speed and with my tire wear being fairly good. Last game, I was able to do soft mediums, but the hards were just a faster tire. So I think that will probably be a prevailing strategy.
Absolutely. Welcome to the everybody arriving in the chat. I've just had to posted the links everywhere. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you can. Hey to Jonathan, hey to Callum who join us, and they're here to cheer on Cider Space. I'm not quite sure who Jonathan's here cheering on, but hopefully the fans of our drivers are checking in. I think that Tier 2 is getting done as well, and I think we may see some of the Tier 2 drivers check in with us. But as I was saying to Bacon just before we started the stream, loads of memes and lots of GIFs appearing in the race day chat. I think the fever is high for this race tonight. Jonathan is racing with us, so he's going to do that brave thing of trying to listen in on a stream while racing Bacon.
Used to do that quite a bit.
Yeah. It's not easy. We've got various different things. I know on our multiplayer Monday we had one shot quali and we also had no formation lap. So this one is going to be short quali, 50% lap. 50% racing laps, and I can't see anywhere about formation laps. So we're going to have to listen out for the beeps Bacon at the start of the race and make sure we don't miss the start inadvertently. In terms of drivers to look out for, Lil Jim here is in the Red Bull. He was quick on Monday, as was Taylor. So we're looking at those guys. Chris Samet has quite a lot of pace, and yeah, a lot of these drivers I enjoyed watching their race on Monday night. And a reminder to anyone on the stream: check out Monday night. It's a lot of fun. 4 teams racing in identical liveries, and I'm not sure whether we're calling it the multiplayer Monday or. By the look of the GIFs that were coming out during that race, it could well be Power Ranger racing. That was how we had a red, a green, a yellow, and a blue team. So it's a lot of fun. We had a great time, and actually it's all about how the teams work together. Very similar to a different a different approach that I've had on a different league with that I know Bacon's very familiar with. But Bacon, how much time have you got in the seat on the latest game? Have you even bought it? I know you've been.
I've been pretty busy, but I think I have just over 24 hours played, so not that much.
Cool.
Very I don't know how I feel about the new game. It's to me it feels understeery, and I run opposite wings to try and counteract that.
Right.
For a couple of my friends from another league that I'm in, they run just higher downforce. I don't know. The higher wings just feel weird to me. Like the balance seems off, but then with the inverted wings, it feels fine. So
yeah, it's definitely been a real challenge for everybody adjusting. It's not just the feel of the cars, but absolutely the feel of particularly those exit curbs. Been a nightmare for the drivers, keeping the car pointing in the right direction. Traction is everything, and I do think I'm certainly hearing a lot of drivers say that ABS and traction control are massive advantages at this stage of people's driving experience on the game.
Yeah, that seems like a trend in time trial as well. I think around Monaco, the top 20-30 times will have ABS turned on. So
yeah,
I don't know what it's like around this track. I'm hoping that we'll see a lot of non-ABS users and no TC, because it makes everything a bit more enjoyable. But yeah,
well, this is Tier 1, so it is the very best of OBF1's league racers, and we'll see who gets out there on track. Bright, blazing sunshine. If you're watching along and you are one of the drivers, hi to Chris Samet, who's joined us on the chat. If you're watching along, do tell us if you've had a weather report, because we can't see that, and it's great if we can find that kind of information out from our drivers. Not always easy for us to second guess and check. We had floodlights on. It was so dark in the race I've just finished commentating on, but it never rained, so it was unfortunate. Well, one of the Williams cars, it looks like M. Chandler is the first one out. Could he be driving any faster? Let's wait and see. Heads out there in the Williams. It's certainly nice to see these new liveries, and especially in the French sunshine. Looks like Paul Harrison's gone out there. Which one is my favourite? I think that's a tough question, I think, at the moment. I think it's going to have to be the Aston Martin. I've been a long fan of the Alfa Romeo liveries, but I think the Aston Martin probably pips it for me this year. What about you?
I don't know if it's popular or not, but the Williams car is probably my favourite. There's just something about it. I don't know.
Something slightly retro, isn't there? I like the colours, the colours particularly. I'm not so sure about the hash lines, but yeah.
we don't really need to talk about that part of the car. We can talk about the nice colour.
No worries. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, good stuff. Well, M. Chandler will be the first one heading out there to start his fast lap, so we'll perhaps stay with him. But we'll try and give everybody a little bit of track time if we can. Obviously, we've got a full field, which is great to see, particularly for races that might run with less than a full grid. It can be quite difficult. Jonathan Crocs says dry race, so a fair fight for everybody, very predictable, and we'll ride on board Bacon with M. Chandler.
So going into turn 1 and 2, fifth gear is a very an invalidation. It's a very questionable gear to choose going through there. I like to stick to 4.
Well, let's look at Kieran Rees instead then. Let's hope he can get beyond turn 3. He's got a very detailed helmet on at the moment, but yeah, seemingly navigating those early apex curves nicely. He's gone out there on mediums, complete split down the grid of soft and mediums for this first banker lap.
It'll be nice to quali through them on the mediums. especially into the race. It opens up the strategy a little bit more, I think, because then you have the choice to go on to hard straight away if there's a first lap safety car or an early safety car, but then the same happens with the softs, but then the softs can't make it as far as the mediums if there is no safety car. So personally, I like to start on the softs. It's league racing, anything can happen.
You like getting the jump at the start and staying sort of more conventional. But like you say, the option to get those hards on is quite safe for you. But Kieran getting a bit wide. I think these tyres have lost their best, and he may have a little bit of connection issue. Can't be completely sure here, but he's just about to finish up his lap. I'm not sure if he'll be the first. I think there's a car ahead of him who will set a fast time. But Kieran comes across the line then. Obviously he'll go top, but apparently not on the sector times. We've got everyone on 0 laps of Denmark, first lap, 1:30.2. I think there's going to be some extra speed to find with short Marcus comes in. Kieran Rees did register that time of 1:31.4, just a little bit delayed on our feed. And let's have a look at Harv. I think Harv is a strong favourite as well in this beautiful Aston Martin. Lotfagar has got a 29.8. I'm expecting to see times in the early 1:28s though tonight when we get to the end of qualifying. But at the moment, times really split. Harv sprints for the line then, and will get pole initially on a 29.2. So nice safe banker for Harv. Who else is out there? What about Jonathan Cox in the Ferrari? He's bit quite early in his lap, so I'll see if I can find someone closing out their lap. Looks like Taylor is towards the end of his lap. He's got a car in front of him. Probably not close enough to trouble him in the downforce. And he'll want to just tuck up neatly behind Kieran Rees here and get a tow up the start-finish straight as Kieran is hopping around a little bit on track. At least on my feed, a 28.2, there you go. Early 28s and his first lap from Taylor. That's a tremendous early lap, and he can really build on that for the rest of qualifying.
It's a quick lap.
It is very quick. We've got Lewis. It's Lewis. I'm assuming it's Lewis and not Lou. I think the 95 is a stylised IS. In the McLaren here. Another one of these drivers who've gone for this cosmic purple helmet scheme. What do you make of that, Bacon?
I believe you actually can't change the colours of that helmet, so not 100% certain, but I think it is set to a purple galaxy-ish.
Interesting. Okay. Well, he's heading into sector 3 now. We still have Taylor leading by a second at the moment, as Lewis takes a really long and wide entry. Lots of different lines possible here. Yeah. I think we do see these soft tyres giving up their best towards the end of this lap at Paul Ricard, especially if you've been on the curbs. The tyres are shot by the end of it, as Lewis then sprints for the line in his McLaren. Where is this going to see him? P2, 29.2, still that entire second away from Taylor. We've got to hope for some closer times. Just went down to look at CDM, and he's invalidated. So everyone wants to get that safe banker in at this stage of qualifying, but SpongeBob, Kieran won't be happy with their work so far. We've got Chris Summit here in the bright white Haas, just going round and warming up his tyres. Yeah, he's just getting out of everybody's way. We've got Eat My Dust. He's heading towards the end of the. No, he's just about to hit the Mistral straight actually. it's very easy to get confused where you are on this track.
I don't know. I feel like I like this track a lot more than most people do.
Yeah.
In real life, it was a pretty hectic race from what I heard. I didn't watch it, sadly. I feel like I'm one of the few people that liked this track on the last game. It had like a decent flow to it, decent overtaking opportunities.
Well, Eat My Dust is hoping for a better lap. Oh, big wide entry. Just lost traction slightly. We've got two drivers, as Callum points out on the track. We've got two on the chat. We've got two drivers at the same time there in third and fourth. Very neat, and the gaps between, let's say, fifth and 11th, very close at the moment. So Eat My Dust for the line, a 1:30.2. So lots of speed to find really to challenge further up the grid. But he did those on that time on mediums, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's have a look at the Alfa Romeo. Let's have a look instead actually at Marcus. Vertically challenged Marcus, I think, might be slightly more politically correct. But he's under his time considerably. I don't know if he said his first time on mediums or not, but he's out there on softs right now. I'm as reliably informed as I can be that P7, the name is correctly pronounced Fatia, but it's just removed all the vowels from his first and surname. So.
Wow.
It's a little bit difficult. I don't know about you, Bacon, but I'm kind of used to ignoring the first few letters on a username if
yeah,
because people put their team names or their league names on there. So,
yeah.
But no, it's Fatia is P7
nonsense.
right now. Yeah. We don't want nonsense names. We want names we can at least attempt a pronunciation of. Anyway, short Marcus for the line in the McLaren. Can he do any better? He can. Very nice. Up to P2 on a 28.5. Much more like it. So getting much closer now to Taylor on those soft tyres for Marcus.
I wonder if any team play will come in at some point in the later stages.
Yeah. Little Jim is one of the deputy heads of the league, so he won't want to show too poorly here. He'll want to have a good showing and make sure that that he's in Tier 1 by merit. He had a great race on Monday night as well for the green team. Anyway, Little Jim heading to the line now. He's in soft tyres. He's down in P12 right now, but straight up to P3 on a 28.6. That'll do for this stage of qualifying. Time to go round, get a new set of tyres on and get back out there. Harv though, Harv is out there and he's pushing hard. Lots of entry curb, too much entry curb into turn 6 and it validates across there. Just pushing that little touch too hard. We haven't looked at any of the Alpha Tauris yet. They're not on a quick lap right now. Denmark is in P4 for Alpha Tauri, and his teammate Mitch is just touring round. I think he's got all he can out of this set of tyres, and he's heading in for some more. Lots of interesting lines being made by the drivers as they get round to the pits. You can go around and find yourself in a different resort in France in some of these runoff areas. Let's see, who have we got?
It's honestly, I find it like a little bit silly for leagues to have a rule where you can't cut a track, especially on like an in-lap where you're supposed to be out of people's ways anyway. So for a circuit like for a car, you've got so much runoff. I mean, you might, if you're coming in for an in-lap, you might as well not be on the track. Just makes it everyone's life a little bit easier.
Absolutely. I think Martin will be agreeing with you and probably extending your point that he's kind of annoyed that you can't drive elsewhere on a hot lap, because he just invalidated going over one of the apex curves. Unfortunately, just while you were saying that it's a shame you can't drive off track. Really nicely timed on the feed there. Mitch is heading in the pits. He's ready to run again, and looks like Lewis is out there going faster still. So from P5 or 29.2, he's got over a second needed to catch Taylor, but that purple middle sector is certainly going to help. Heading into this super fast section. that was close.
On edge right there.
Yeah, I think the fact that he came out the throttle was the only thing that saved him from invalidating across there. It won't have helped him in his bid for pole position for sure. He's got Martin going in the pits ahead of him. Minor distraction. And out there, then down to the line. See what he can do. 28 goes by. It's a 28.9, so a quarter of a second improvement. Sees him right up there in P5. So nice improvement, and he can really afford to go for it in the next one. Cider Space now in the Mercedes is under his first sector time. Very nice indeed. I wonder how advanced people's setups have actually got at this point. Whether they're just pulling them off the internet, or whether they've had some time to actually adjust them to their driving style. Another very wide entry from Cider Space. Yeah.
Especially on this game. Last game you could get away a little bit with it, as your setup would mainly just save you the hassle, get off throttle, start turning in. But if you don't have your wheel spinning with the power down, it's you kind of just wash out wide.
Absolutely. Well, these long, drawn-out camera angles, you get an idea of very slow speed. But Cider Space up to P6, a 4/10 improvement in the Mercedes. So currently we've got the Williams. Is it the Williams of H. Taylor? Or the Alpine?
Yes, that is.
I can't tell my colours very well anymore.
That's what Williams.
So H. Taylor has got pole position on a 28.1, and the closest driver to him is Short Marcus. He's out there at the moment. He's gunning for his pole position attempt. I think he's actually on it now. He's getting round the track very quickly and getting fresh tyres on. He's obviously found every possible shortcut.
Cutting all of Sector 3 into... You can get around this track without any, with invalidating. I think it's just under a minute or something like that. Something very close to the Sakia times, so... It definitely saves you a lot of time, considering how long the lap is. Cuts at least 30 seconds.
Marcus has got a purple first sector. He's got 2 cars ahead of him down the Mistral straight. They do blend out the throttle early enough for him to keep his optimal line. And how is his line going to be through this ever tightening right-hander? Very nice, I think there, Bacon. Yeah. Well, we'll try and get a lap guide with you, perhaps with Taylor, once Marcus has crossed the line. But this could be gunning for pole here. He certainly is on target for an improvement in his personal sectors. Little short shift, but he did make some use of third gear, which is nice to see. And crosses the line and gets second place. He does make an improvement, but he lost a bit of time through that lap. He lost time compared to how he was doing on his out lap and his first sector. So a little improvement. Hopefully defends his front row. But right now, what's little Jim doing? How's he getting on? We'll try and stay with him and then cut to Taylor once Taylor starts his lap. If little Jim doesn't improve, we'll get an idea of where that gets him to. As he's got a purple first sector, Bacon. Only 3800ths faster than he's been before, so it's very tight, that first sector.
Yeah, the first sector is where you can gain the most amount of time, especially turns 1 and 2. If you get it perfect, you will gain almost all of your time in that sector.
Wow.
I think,
and it's quite short as well.
Yeah, it's a really short sector. Even from where it looks, it's only 7 turns, maybe that. I mean, turn 2 is or sector 2 is like 4, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, how's he?
You can gain the majority of your time in sector 1.
I feel like that was maybe a slight bit too wide, and he did just skirt the apex. He's got a good turn in there on the left-hander. At this point in the lap, I've lost count of the corner numbers. There's just too many. But gets the car tucked in nicely for the penultimate corner. Heads on out of the final corner. Looking good. Is this good enough for the front row? 28.5. It's not. Only the most marginal of gains. H. Taylor will not go any quicker, but Fatia has gone P2 in the Alfa Romeo, so fantastic lap there. A big improvement from Fatia on a 28.4. Left running, we've got CDM, and I kind of think CDM might have some more to say about the front of the grid tonight. So let's see what he can string together. He's got his teammate ahead of him, who will either get out of the way or be very helpful and give him a tow. But so far, I think so good on this lap for CDM.
This thing's paying, yeah.
He's gone into the pits. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What about Steve Antino? He's going to make a small improvement in Fatia's teammate Alfa Romeo. He's going to start 14th. And Jonathan Cox goes P2 on a 28.2. So another lap that came right at a death. And it's a shame we didn't see him on stream, but a great lap from Jonathan Cox. So Taylor will, I think, be pole position here. I don't think anyone else is going any quicker. From Jonathan Cox in the Ferrari, with Fatia in the Alfa Romeo, and Marcus in P4 for McLaren. I think then we've got the first of the Red Bulls, his little Jim, his teammate SpongeBob in 8th. Got an AlphaTauri up there. Nice little mix of teams breaking at the on the starting grid.
Yeah, it's nice to see almost every single team have one person in the top 10.
Yeah, it's almost like they designed it this way, I wonder.
Just rigged it a little bit.
Oh, I meant more that they might have balanced the teams out quite nicely. You know. But yes, there's Taylor standing proud in his Williams overalls as pole position, a 28.1. John Cox from Fatia, Marcus, Little Jim in Denmark. Then we've got CDM in 7th. We've got SpongeBob in 8th and Lewis 9th. Lewis was much higher, and everybody put in quicker laps towards the end of the qualifying, but he did show some good pace. M. Chandler in the Williams starts 10th, and then with free choice of tyres comes Mitch, Siderspace, Harv, Steve Antino, Lofagar, Paul Harrison, Martin, Eat My Dust, Kieran Rees, and Chris Sammut will start at the back from a disqualification.
It's seems like quite a quick field.
Yeah, pretty good indeed. A lot faster than me anyway.
Just got to put some practice in.
Yeah, I spent too long commentating to get any practice time, I think. Hey, we've got an all-Welsh Mercedes team, it looks like, there, which is kind of cool. Very nice. Don't often see that, do you?
No, it seems like the majority of the field is UK based as well.
Yeah. So a number of different flags on the grid, but I can't remember them all. There's definitely.
There's a Russian one. Is that?
We are going to start straight away. No formation lap. And it's lights out, and away we go. Must be a jump start from the Alfa Romeo, from the Aston Martin there, who goes miles ahead of everybody else. But focusing on the field as they appear, it looks like H. Taylor got away very nicely. Jonathan Cox consolidating second place. There's another drama for the other Aston Martin further down the field. Marcus in 4th. We've got the Red Bulls locked together. Little Jim losing out slightly at the start there, and his teammate SpongeBob behind him. A little bit of a gap in the front of the grid, but nightmare of a start for the Aston Martin team. Bacon, bit of a mistake.
think Harv was expecting there to be a formation lap. And we have a bonus safety car.
We do. So everybody will not be making overtaking attempts down into the chicane. VSC, I'm not sure why that is. Looks like cider space currently dropping back, but not dramatically so. So maybe it was just an impact somewhere.
Well, it looks like M. Chandler at the back of the grid is missing his entire wing.
Ah, yeah, that'll do it.
I think that was around turn 7. I think that's turn 7.
It's got some pretty severe rake on that Williams as well. Maybe it's just exaggerated because you can't see the front wing as well. But cars just trying to keep to their deltas now. But all action at the start with Harv. I'm assuming that penalty, Bacon, is a drive-through, is it?
Yeah, that is a drive-through. You won't be able to serve it under VSC.
No.
And he started on hards. That's going to hurt.
Ouch. Ouch indeed. So maybe it was a calculated move from Harv, but yeah, you're probably right. It looked more like a formation lap.
Honest mistake.
Kind of start, definitely. Yeah. I don't know anyone who's made a mistake live on commentary about there being a formation lap or not. Do you, Bacon? Hint, me, definitely. In the past. So we've got some nice... yeah, we've got some very tight gaps, though, at the front as we go green racing once again. Harv has not managed to keep any form of a happy gap after that jump start. So further down the field in 4th and 5th, so the gaps are really, really tight. What about Lewis? Is he making an attempt here on Denmark or on SpongeBob ahead of him? Not quite, but a penalty for SpongeBob as well.
That's track limits.
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure about this predicted pit stop strategy. The soft, medium, medium, yes. Soft, medium, soft, possibly. But also a one-stopping soft, hard. Bacon is you were saying your preferred option.
Yeah, I'm assuming these guys have done the practicing and know what strategies they're going to be choosing. I haven't driven this track at all, but from just my own experience, I think the soft hard is the better race tire. But then again, in real life, there was this what was it, soft, medium, soft that Mercedes did.
That sounds about right.
Or Red Bull did. I can't remember what strategy it was, but that pretty much won Red Bull the race.
Well, CDM on that difficult start is tucked right behind the Haas, and in turn, Lotfagart is hounding the back of the Alfa Romeo. These 4 drivers kind of stuck behind Martin at the moment, as the leader H. Taylor does get away from 2nd place, and hopefully it looks like for him has got enough of a gap there to defend down the Mistral Straight. Fatir looking racy behind Marcus, but you don't want to take too much of that out of these soft tyres too early.
No, I would expect them to last maybe 9 laps or 8 laps.
Yeah, certainly it was 8 was about the maximum anybody saw in the race earlier this evening. And we did see someone get 14 laps out of the medium tyres, but it was a difficult run. So we've got AlphaTauri trying to overtake the McLaren of Lewis, who is taking defensive lines all over the place, but keeping the car behind him perfectly within the rules. He's also trying to distract the Red Bull in front of him of SpongeBob, who, as I mentioned earlier, has got a penalty. But Lewis gets it wrong on the way out of the final corner, and I think that Denmark is going to have a good run on him here. He's forced to go around the outside, but a good defence.
Very nice. Oh, and he just loses it.
Yeah, formation off-track driving there, further up the grid. Lewis absolutely all over the place. Unfortunately, he was putting up a staunch defence prior to that. But yeah, sadly dropping back now. So the Red Bulls up in 4th and 5th before penalties. Those guys just trying to work together and get a good result for the team. But Cider Space just getting by SpongeBob. Cider in the Mercedes, doing that textbook move into the chicane.
Yeah, very simple move, using the DRS to get by Overtake, which is actually running pretty low on. Overtake is, or at least managing your ERS is, since there's no fuel mix, pretty paramount now in this game. So could possibly hurt him, because there's some heavy braking zones, so ERS like gaining could be a little bit of a challenge,
right.
But there is enough braking zones where you don't need to worry too much about it.
Look at this start-finish straight from P6 onwards. Everybody's very, very tight with each other. It's becoming a DRS train, though. Of course, that nullifying the advantage that DRS gives you if the car in front of you has got it. And it looks like Martin falling foul of a number of cars down the start-finish straight there, really going backwards in the Alpine. He hasn't pitted, has he?
Nah, he's just had another spin on that turn 2 curb. It's really
right.
deadly.
Yeah, we're going to start naming curbs, I think, this year, because they're going to need some identifier, because they're the absolute bête noire of everybody so far. No passes, no one driving particularly aggressively at this stage of the race, and that's probably smart. We've got Mitch and Paul Harrison have made it up to 8th and 9th on the medium tyres. I don't think they started on, I don't think they qualified on those, I should say. Behind them, Paul Harrison just making a move, trying to go around the outside of the AlphaTauri in the fast right-hander, but the AlphaTauri just making the car wide enough to discourage that manoeuvre, holding him off. Yeah, very respectful. I do like the way these guys at OBF1 drive, as Little Jim decides 4 laps is time to pit. But unfortunately, so does his teammate. So I don't know what Jeff was doing in Red Bull there, but SpongeBob is going to have to stack behind his teammate, and that's really slowed them down. They were really close to each other. There's going to be quite a gap when they come out. 4 laps, Bacon. That's short for these soft tyres.
Maybe they're just overheating and slipping and sliding too much to where it's hurting the tyre grip.
Or is it possible they feel like they're losing time against the leaders, and you know, they can get out there and get some quick laps in. In fact, I think Little Jim's come out on soft tyres. So has SpongeBob. They're going for a soft first 2 stints.
Very interesting choice. I think the mediums were just starting to speed up a bit more than the softs. Yeah, honestly.
H. Taylor is your leader on lap 6 from Marcus and Cider Space, all on the same life soft tyres. Then we've got Mitch and Paul Harrison on medium tyres, who have gained right up to 4th and 5th now. Must be in a good place. Their pace would be good against the soft tyre runners, and Paul Harrison goes off exactly as I'm saying that, and loses a place to Denmark. So the AlphaTauris are together now on towards the front of the grid. We've got CDM in 7th, Lotfagart in 8th, Jonathan Cox in 9th, and Steve Ventino in 10th. And yeah, it looks like several people pitting. So Taylor, the leader, Denmark, CDM, and yeah, well, nearly all of the soft runners. We've just left Short Markers and Cider Space out there on softs for a 6th or 7th racing lap. We haven't had a safety car to cool the tyres down or look after them at all at this stage. But that pit lane's looking very busy, Bacon, right now.
Yeah, H. Taylor just came out in a little bit of traffic, so that could hurt him later on down the line. SpongeBob, I think, just got the jump on Jonathan Cox there. Am I right in saying that?
I think that sounds about right, yeah. Which is interesting, given he was stacked behind Little Jim, so the undercut was so powerful to even make up for that. So impressive stuff Obviously his in and out laps were superior to Jonathan Cox's. Short Marcus and Cyberspace leading the field, but they've only really got a modest gap to the first of the medium tyre runners. We've got Harv there on the hard tyres in 8th position, and Eat My Dust in 13th on the hard tyres. I wonder how long they'll get those tyres through. I wonder if they'll get into round lap 20 and be able to do an aggressive soft run on the last 7 or 8 laps.
That was about the amount of time that they would last on the last game. But again,
here comes Marcus and Cyberspace in the pits. Sorry, Bacon, but those guys pitting now. Let's see where that feeds them out. Currently, they're still ahead of Taylor, but I don't think that's going to last as Taylor goes through. So Taylor retakes a number of places as those guys have pitted. Marcus out there behind Kieran Rees, Little Jim. So lost out at least to Little Jim, if not Kieran Rees as well, as things are going to shake out later. Certainly, yeah, Little Jim up to net second if the strategies all run as we expect them to anyway. Yeah, I'm really going to keep an eye here on Harv, who's got a 4.3 second gap to the car in front, but significant tyre advantage at this stage of the race.
As you say that though, Short Marcus has gone onto the hards, whereas Taylor's gone onto the mediums, so it's going to be really difficult to try and make those mediums last.
Yeah, there's no way on earth those mediums are lasting to the end of the race.
It's really difficult. You've got to get no wheel spin or like drifting action at all through any of the corners.
Absolutely. Well, Mitch inherits the lead and here we have all the medium starters are sitting there at the top of the grid right now because everybody's pitted and they didn't manage to gap the field sufficiently. Paul Harrison though, nice and tight behind Mitch, and this is going to spoil Mitch's plan to maximise his run length if he's going to need to start defending Bacon from the Alpine behind him.
Defending around this track is a challenge. It's a really it's a difficult track to overtake, but not for the reasons that Monaco is. The curbs are pretty deadly if you get too throttle heavy on them. It's hard to tell where your opponent is going to go as Mitch and Paul are dragging down one of the straights.
I think Paul's got a really good chance here. He's using some ERS, he's using his DRS and gets up the inside, tries to squeeze Mitch, but Mitch is going to hang on in there. And we'll see if they live to fight another day. Just about keeping enough racing room. Mitch hogging that inside line. He won't be able to cut back to make a second move to the inside, but he may have to lift through that right-hander if on that compromised line. Meanwhile, here comes Lotfagar in the Haas, who does a beautiful cheeky move up the inside of the Alpine, who was looking to make a wide entry. That was a great move from Lotfagar there.
Oh
no!
So unlucky.
Just lost it, and T-boned by Paul Harrison, who gets a drive-through for a severe penalty, which is wholly unfair. I hope he can report Codemasters in the post-race, because there's nothing he could do there, Bacon, to avoid that contact.
There's nothing you can do there. It's just really unlucky. Comes right across you when he's spinning and he's lost the car. It's nothing you can do to avoid that, especially when you're so close to the inside.
I mean, he's managed to type on his way in to the to the pits, so yeah, I won't read it out, but yeah, he's not impressed, should we say? But yeah, a great move from Lotfagar. You have to say that was absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, just a slightly different line maybe caught him out. Old medium tyres, and yeah, just turned the car around and ruined his, and potentially at this stage at least, ruined Paul Harrison's race as well.
Yeah, having both a really good race, starting, I think it was 7th and 6th respectively.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. I have to say I didn't memorise the grid. But Harv is looking pretty racy at the moment, but not as racy as Fatia, who comes out on those relatively young, I guess, medium tyres, and is just making hay while those work for him. Goes around up the inside of the Mercedes. Nice, decisive move. The Mercedes behind him of Kieran Rees getting overtaken by Jonathan Cox at the one corner later. So his tyres are really struggling. Kieran Rees really struggling on those tyres right now. But for Tia, up to 9th, he's already stopped once. Stopped pretty early doors on the softs, but I'm sure he's committed to a 2-stop strategy tonight. He's now going to, of course, have to defend from the Ferrari. He gives him the inside, maybe thinking it's better just to hang with him and wait for the next DRS opportunity, do you think?
Yeah, there's no point in fighting the soft runner. You're only either going to lose time to the people ahead of you, or have a small incident, which is very likely around this track when trying to overtake, especially through 1 and 2. 8 and 9 in the chicane if the overtaker gets the line wrong.
Yeah. Looks like Eat My Dust made up a couple of places pretty quickly there. I don't know if there was a problem. I think SpongeBob might be struggling. I don't know if he's got some sort of failure or damage on the car, but he's lost several places this lap. Can't see what it is.
Looks like he's missing his right end plate.
Okay, he's got good top speed, but that will, yeah, his right end plate definitely not looking factory condition. Ahead of him, Denmark in the AlphaTauri, challenging the McLaren of Lewis, not managing to get to get underneath him into those right-handers that we saw Lotfagar do earlier on.
He thought about it just then.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the front, and your leader is Mitch from Stuyventino, who I'm sure was almost right down at the bottom at one point in this race. Chris Summit, who definitely was at the bottom at the start, is 7 tenths behind Stuyventino, and the Haas, he's able to get himself right up near the front of the grid on this strategy. I wonder if he's been looking after these medium tyres a little bit better than the other cars around him.
Right, it paid really good dividends, especially with Taylor behind him.
He's got Taylor behind him because Taylor has already stopped, and Taylor is still your net leader, but it will depend on whether we get any safety cars. I'm quite impressed though, Bacon. We have 20 runners still, and it's lap 12.
Yeah, we've had a couple spinners here and there, but nothing major to bring out safety car. No big collisions to. Especially after Lotfagar and Chandler.
How about Chris Summit here around the outside of the Alfa Romeo? Beautiful move, and up comes Taylor to try and just take advantage of the of Stuyventino's Alfa that was put into an unconventional line. Taylor really switched on there, nice little move, but really all begun by Chris Summit going around the outside. Beautiful.
Can tell that Chris has also been saving his tyres a bit as well, since Mitch and was that dropping down? Steve just came in.
Yeah, so Stuyventino has pitted, Mitch has pitted as well from the lead, so Taylor gets his lead back. Chris Summit sensibly letting Taylor by different strategies, and given that Chris Summit started at the back of the grid, he's now running 12th, second on 12 lap old medium tyres, but he'll be heading into the pits pretty soon, I'm sure.
Could be paying him really good dividends here if he can stick to Taylor with the DRS and using a fair amount of his overtake coming into pit. Could possibly undercut Mitch, but a
lot of battling going on here between the Ferrari and the Mercedes of Jonathan Cox and Cyberspace respectively. I think we've also got Fatia getting in the mix as well. Fatia is really making a name for himself today. These awesome moves he's doing, catching drivers unawares while they're battling somebody else. So really cool driving there. But yeah, like I say, it's Tier 1. This is the creme de la creme of OBF1, and they are driving very impressively. I don't think I've ever seen a league race go half distance with no retirements. Looks like Marcus dropping down a little bit. I wonder why that is. Just make a mistake. Yeah.
Looks like it.
But these three cars are 5th, 6th and 7th, pretty nailed together, and I think that they're going to see some more action as we head down through Sector 1 and head into the Mistral Straight for another time. Chris Sammer is staying with Taylor, and more importantly, he's staying out there, Bacon. He's now run 13 laps. As I said, I've seen a 14-lap run at the end of the race, but this is very, very strong pace for Chris Sammer.
Yeah, I think he might be trying to make some sort of attempt at a one-stop medium soft, which, I mean, it's, like I said, it's doable. It's not a pretty strategy.
I mean, it might be doable, but I don't think I've ever seen it done, so it would definitely be a first for me. Absolutely. I would always prefer to put on the longer life tyres and be able to push, but I'm probably too aggressive on the brakes, I think.
I think what's happened here is he's just stuck in a crossroads where he can go to either tyre, and he might be trying to make these mediums last just that little bit longer to go either to 2 softs or 1 soft.
Great racing here in 4th, 5th and 6th. Really, really cool, as Jonathan Cox decides he's not gaining any time at the moment, and he's got everything he can out of those soft tyres. Little Jim in the pits, and Harv in the pits. Harv in the pits? Only got 13 laps out of those hards, Bacon.
That's, he must have had a mistake or something that really shut up the tyre wear on those tyres.
I wonder if he had some damage, because that's unusual. But maybe he just thinks, well, I've got 12 laps to go, and I'd prefer to be on the mediums.
Yeah, could also just be a preference thing. I know there's been a couple times in my league races where the better strategy has clearly been a 1 stop, and I've just taken the 2 stop to get onto softs. It's just gained me enough time because I took it at the right moment.
Well, Cyberspace got very, very close to the back of Fatir there, down the Mistral, the first section of the Mistral, but didn't manage to get by. I don't know if he'll get enough of an overlap, and he's derating heading into the right-hander, so won't be actioning, making any type of an effort on a pass there. But we'll just sit behind him and wait for his next DRS opportunity, I think. But did get very close. Let's look down at Lewis. Lewis is getting really close as well to the back of the AlphaTauri, driven by Denmark. But again, back in this twisty section. I have seen cars get underneath another car in the penultimate corner in a very, very cheeky move, and sometimes go around the outside of them and have the inside for the last corner. It's a surprising opportunity for overtakes there.
Yeah, I love that, that last sector. You can do a lot of really nice wheel-to-wheel back and forth. It's kind of like a smaller Brazil.
Right.
You kind of understand what I'm saying, where you can just go wheel-to-wheel. There's enough room.
Lewis making a dive down the inside of 1, but ends up on the outside of 2. He's trying to get under this AlphaTauri, but he needs to be careful because he's got such tight attention behind him of Little Jim. Little Jim here on really nice fresh mediums, and really being held up by these drivers as Lewis goes wide.
And a safety car.
Oh, okay. Loffagar, it looks like.
Yeah.
He had a dramatic race, and our first
That's
driver out.
Great, Chris.
For Chris Sammer.
Yeah,
it is actually.
That's really good. He'll come out
Look at the gap he's got to
P6.
P3 as well. So yeah, perfectly timed. What does H. Taylor do here? There's still 11 laps to run.
I think he pits, yeah.
He does pit. So if he's got a set of mediums left, he'll put those on. And Chris Sammer in. Side of space. This is only going to help Chris Sammer if everybody in pits in front of him. Yeah, in they come. Chris in, Fatir in.
I'd expect softs for Chris, I'd say.
Marcus stays out on the hard tyres. he's happy to get those to the end, but getting those hard tyres back up to temperature after a safety car is a nightmare. So we'll see how he handles those with fresh tired runners. Chris Sammett's gone on the softs, Bacon. He's going for a 10-lap run on the softs.
I think it'll be easily doable with the low fuel of the car now.
Yeah.
And, I don't think he'll need to fight that hard either. Mitch ahead of him is on hards. That's a tyre deficit of at least a second, I'd say. Taylor is on the mediums. He'll probably get by Marcus if Marcus doesn't pit. Probably trying to avoid a double stack with Lou.
So yeah, we've got several hard runners. CDM's put hard tyres on. I wonder if he'd run out of mediums or was forced into that change, having only run mediums so far. But fresh tyres for CDM. Nearly the entire grid putting fresh tyres on at this stage, if they hadn't already done so in the last 2 laps. Mitch is out there on the oldest tyres on lap 17. They've done 4 laps. So just tells you just how many drivers have changed strategy in the last minute. We've got Marcus, though. He is on 9-lap-old hards. They'll get him easily to the end, but he's going to have a queue of drivers behind him.
Yeah, he's going to have to defend like Fernando at Hungary. Like he's going to...
or Fernando at Silverstone. Or Fernando everywhere else.
Yeah. Everywhere. Just defend like Fernando. Make that car as wide as possible, because he's not going to have it easy with all these runners behind him on fresh tyres. Especially Chris. I'm expecting some decent things from that Haas, because being on softs, low fuel, you're basically running a quali car.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we might be waiting for Martin to catch the tail of the field before the safety car lights will go off, or it's triggered exactly by just Lotfogar's impact. But was a bit of a pattern in the previous game, was waiting for the field to catch the safety car queue before letting them go. We've got a pit stop from Little Jim. So
he picks up a 5-second as well.
No way. So he's given up all his track position, and in so doing has managed to catch that 5-second penalty. It's not an easy pit lane entry. That speed limit board does really come at you quite quickly.
It's also really, really awkward. Like it's kind of blind in a sense, where you get to the midway of the corner, and you're thinking if you're going to make the pit or not. Because you can't really like tell where it is until the last second. So
yeah, no, agreed. Let's have a look at the front. How's the safety car doing? It's still flashing its lights, sadly. I don't know if they've actually. Have they got both safety cars in the game, or do we just have the Mercedes?
I don't think the Aston Martin one is in.
No.
It'd be really cool if the host could choose which safety car, but I mean. Small things.
I'll tell you what I'd really like to see is a safety car grid, and you could actually drive the thing. If they're going to go to the effort of building the car, you might as well make it drivable. It's not. It's sort of rolling around. It's not just a static thing. It does appear to have some sense of pitch to it when you see it on the track. But I guess we could just use one of our other games on the shelf if we want to drive GT cars. I think the amount of commitment a lot of our league racers make to getting the speed up on this game, it really is one of those games you have to be fully committed onto it. You can't really be doing multiple driving disciplines.
Yeah. So I know a couple people that do a bit of GT sport as well from other leagues that I'm in. It seems pretty difficult when they have to switch from doing like LMP cars for like 12-hour races and stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
F1 cars.
It's a definite challenge. I know one of the people that host my podcast actually. One of the ideas is that they'd love to do multidiscipline eSports. But I'm not sure how many people out there are able to do Call of Duty as well as they are F1, as well as they are FIFA, you know. Oh, we've lost Martin. Martin's retired. I wonder if he's done that in the pits. No, we've had a severe collision. SpongeBob SpongeBob has had a severe collision with Martin, and whether that's strictly as the game decrees or if he just caught his accident like we saw earlier with Lot Fagar's move and Paul Harrison. But yeah, unfortunately, that's SpongeBob in the pits as well. So the Red Bull team 17th and 18th right now.
I hope that doesn't break the lobby too hard. I had a instance in a pre-season race of mine where we had the safety car out until the last 2 laps.
Oh, so, don't say that, please.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. I'm knocking on wood. It won't break it, but I know it's a thing that's happened in the past.
Well, safety cars breed safety cars, but usually get a restart in between them. Yeah, if someone's going to have an accident during the safety car period, then yeah, it's going to get extended. But right until
oh, never mind.
Oh, here we go. Excellent. Yeah, say that some more. That'd be great. So the lights are out on the safety car, and we're about to get racing again. Short markers, hard tyres, old hard tyres as well. He's going to try and get those home and see what he can rescue out of this race, but I don't see him keeping the likes of Taylor and Mitch behind him, and especially Bacon's pick here is Chris Samet in 4th place. We've got Harv in 5th. Cider Space, Jonathan Cox, Fatia, CDM and Denmark make out your top 10. Of note, you've got the 2 Red Bulls having issues or late strategy calls to change tyres in 17th and 18th, and we lost Martin sadly under this safety car period, and the safety car period itself was triggered on lap 16 by Lot Fagar. It looks like Short Marcus has decided to go, but Taylor's right behind him. He's going to have bags of grip coming out the final corner, and I'll be surprised if Marcus manages to hold on much. Oh, some weaving around, some darting from H. Taylor. Dummy one way, dummy the other way, and didn't get by in the end. But getting excited and trying to make that move stick really early on. Is he? Do you think he's nervous of the pace of Chris Samet behind him?
Probably. I mean, he is on softs, and Marcus is just barely down on his time, but Taylor has a really good run. Yeah,
great slingshot out of that turn 6, and heads down. Marcus decides to give him the inside. Will he hang with him on the outside of the turn? He's no choice in the matter because he got him under braking. H. Taylor resumes the lead of the race in the Williams on lap 20, and he'll be hoping to get his foot to the floor and get away from Chris Samet. Chris Samet currently in 5th place on soft tyres, and probably a very nice strategy for the end of this race. Hopefully he hasn't taken too much out of those softs. I did see everybody weaving, and sometimes it's not to the advantage of the softest runners to weave too much.
You can get temperature into those tyres pretty easily, so I just usually am not weaving unless they're like coming out of the freezer or something.
Yep. We've got Mitch looking close, and Chris Samet behind him. Go ahead.
Marcus is sticking with Taylor, and it looks like he's got a straight line lead advantage. I could be wrong about that, but going down the one of the back streets, it looked like he was just barely edging out Taylor until they got to the break.
Martin has apologised in the chat to SpongeBob for the accident, so already admitting fault there, unfortunately.
Some nice sportsmanship there.
Yeah, and Daniel has said he's apologising to Lot Fagar, I think, for an accident in our YouTube chat. So he's obviously watching with us. We've lost SpongeBob. He's gone. Eat My Dust has gone as well. Is this going to trigger another safety car? So, while this could help Chris Samet in his quest to get these soft tyres to the end, he's running out of time, and Taylor must be wondering what he's got to do to get away from these drivers.
Yeah, I think Marcus might. I don't know. Marcus was definitely keeping up with Taylor for a second or two there. He might fit, but it would be pretty not advantageous at all.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on the pits. You know, Marcus could well do it, as you say, but the field hasn't spread at all at this point. I think that Eat My Dust and SpongeBob lost it on the Mistral, probably jostling for position between one or the other of them. Mitch and Jonathan Cox are pitted, going for soft tyres at the end. I feel confident, but they're losing loads of positions here, Bacon. I'm not sure how much sense it's going to make.
I mean, considering everyone's on fresh mediums, or pretty much fresh mediums, I don't think it was the right thing to do. You're just losing out on track position at that point. You can only go backwards.
And the more people that do it with you, the more battling you're going to be having. I mean, Mitch has come out ahead of everybody else on those softs, but to what end, really? Maybe 1 or 2 places, but you've just handed 5 or 6 to somebody else. So yeah, you make a move like that, and it's ballsy, but you're kind of relying on everybody else making the move with you. Daniel apologised to Lotfagar in the YouTube chat and then retracted his message. So he's taken his apology back. That's the first time I've seen that, I have to say. Yeah, maybe he's just retyping it or decided to do it via DM. SpongeBob's gone from the session. We've lost Eat My Dust as well. Martin and Lotfagar. CDM was a long way back, but he's caught the tail. Bit of a gap there between Jonathan Cox and Kieran Rees after the pit stop, so I imagine we're waiting for those guys to pick back up again. It's about time now, Bacon, for you to say that the safety car is going to stay out.
Okay, so safety car, obviously. Yeah.
We'll see if you've worked your magic again, or if Ben Mylander is just fed up with you. Jonathan Cox is looking forward to a brand new set of softs. Sure, but you're in 13th place. I think there's points down to 12th in OBF1. But you've given up a fair few points getting those soft tyres. So let's hope he makes them work. He has got Mitch and Little Jim ahead of him, also on softs. But Marcus, the only hard runner now, he's still got to get however many racing laps we have left. Hopefully 3 racing laps. There's only so much safety car you can watch. Yeah.
5. But a decent amount of time for Harv and Chris to start making moves on Marcus. With those tyres, I'm not expecting that or the best traction. But Chris might have just barely worn his tyres out a bit too much. 6 lap old softs, he's weaving a fair amount.
Yeah, indeed. So, lap 23, we're under our second safety car period with H. Taylor at the head of the field. We've got Marcus, unlikely to be able to challenge him, but staying with him under top speed, but won't have a lot of grip in the corners on those old hard tyres. We've got Harv in 3rd, Chris Salmon on soft tyres, hoping to make a better restart than he did last time, in 4th place, with Cider Space in the Mercedes in 5th. Safety car will be coming in, Bacon, this lap, so we should get 4 complete racing laps left. Fatih is in 6th in the Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa Tauri is Denmark in 7th, with Lewis 2nd McLaren behind him. And again, complete split of the teams and their positions on the field, with Stephen Tino in 9th and M Chandler in 10th, and then all the soft runners hoping to make gains on the medium runners at the end of this race. The safety car has gone miles ahead. Marcus trying to stay with H. Taylor, and we'll just watch and see when it is that H. Taylor goes. He's leaving it pretty late. He's gone at the earliest opportunity after the final corner, and Harv tucked right up behind Marcus. He's got a great run here. Looks like he's going to get the inside into turn 1. Marcus going to try and hang on the outside. He is going to make the attempt, but no, the grip difference for the Aston Martin is just so much more superior, and he gets that second place. Further down the field, Chris Summit is catching Marcus, and will have a good run on him if he can get a good set of traction out of turn 6 and head on up the straight. He's gapped him a little bit though, and he's going to be playing defensive from the Mercedes of side of space behind him instead.
A little bit of time on the straight. Marcus does seem to have the better straight line speed out of the entire pack by the looks of it.
Yeah,
barely hold on to this podium.
Side of space is very, very close to the Haas of Chris Summit behind him. Chris Summit, I think, struggling with reheat of these tyres. He's not got the bite out of the corners that you'd kind of expect him to have on these softs.
Yeah, I think they've just worn out too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I was saying you can definitely take them to the end, but they're going to be pretty worn.
But I mean, most of the laps he's done on these softs under the safety car conditions. I mean, we only had a couple of respite laps of actual racing, didn't we?
Yeah, but the weaving as well, it really zaps the tyres.
It does look like Chris's forward motion has ended. Fatia is looking very racy behind side of space now. It's about time to have a look at the penalty situation now that everybody's stopped to the end. Just a handful of penalties for the small penalties, I guess. We've got Lewis on 9 seconds, Chandler leading the way on 13 seconds of penalties so far, but the front of the grid should be unaffected by penalties if we can get another couple of laps of clean racing. Chris Summit is nicely tucked behind the McLaren again of Marcus, so Marcus just dragging those tyres as far as he can to the end of this race. A bit of a limp home for these two drivers on these tyres, treating them very, very gently.
He might go for it.
He might go up the inside. Marcus gives him some room, and it looks like he's going to risk the Mercedes having a look up behind. We get a mixture of really great and really awful camera angles at Paul Ricard. Sometimes you get a really nice helicopter view, and other times you just look at a curb for ages and a car appears. Bit of battling down there. Mitch just elbowing his way past, I think, Lewis on the final corner, and a bit of a concertina effect down as everybody's sort of compromised on the way in, all the way out of the final corner. Just spreading out a bit, this 4th, 5th, 6th battle. But Chris Summit staying with Marcus and hoping to get a nice DRS pass and some better traction out of here. Just loses some speed, doesn't he, on that corner before the Mistral straight?
Just a little bit too much. I think he's missing just enough tyre. Oh, he's going to go for a dive.
Oh, that's a dive.
Oh, that's tight.
They did leave some room. Side of space just distracted by what's going on, catches a penalty across the apex, and Chris Summit made it work, but Marcus definitely helped by not making that turn into an accident.
That was a very close, great heads up driver from Marcus.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it came from a long way back, and it was a fight for the podium. Both drivers risking it all, but thankfully coming out unharmed.
I'm not exactly a fan of dive bombs. I feel like it's a little bit rude to dive on your on your opponent.
Oh, the AlphaTauri is just making contact, I think, there. Further down. Yeah, I think Denmark and Mitch just touched each other on the way out of the final corner, and handed a lot of momentum to Jonathan Cox, who is obviously, he's watching the stream and he's loving these soft tyres. He's made it up to P9 so we should probably be watching him a little bit more, because he's making a fair amount of these moves stick. He's got a great run. I think he's going to be looking really hot down the Mistral. DRS is open, tucked up. The car ahead has got DRS as well, so it's not a slam dunk. He's going to have to do this on the brakes. Stops the car, but some aggressive defence from the AlphaTauri, and yeah, Jonathan Cox is going to be really annoyed that we stuck with him on the stream, because he's turned round and he's down to 14th, so terrible luck. It was staunch defence from the AlphaTauri, but I didn't feel like it was unfair. What have you seen? Is it Marcus?
Marcus and Chris have come up together.
Oh, right at the death. But Chris has stayed in that P3. So it looks like H. Taylor rounding the final corner. No penalties on this car. Peerless, perfect drive from H. Taylor, and he takes the win for Williams. Harv is going to get second place on those medium tyres, and Chris Samet, battle won, battle weary, gets third place with Fatia in fourth, Mitch in fifth. Sider dropped down to sixth after all those penalties. We've got Denmark in eighth place. Paul Harrison comes through, takes ninth with Lewis. Chandler, CDM. We've got a very close field at the end of the race after that safety car. CDM there with 12th place, and I was just waiting to see the penalties stack up and reorganise themselves at the end, and we've reached the end of the race for some reason. Chris Samet gets the drive of the day. Great job, sadly Marcus came off worse at the end of that one. Nice, got a camera recording celebration from Taylor. Strong performance on Monday, went better on Wednesday when it really mattered in Tier 1, and takes the first win of the season. Great drive from the Williams driver Taylor. We've got Aston Martin also there on the on the podium, but a bit of a drama-filled race. Some great driving, and some real shame at the end for Marcus, who was holding on no end. Could you take us through the finishing order, please, Bacon?
Sure. So H. Taylor with a pretty dominant race, starting first, ending first. Harv second, moving his way up the field, gaining 11 positions. But Chris with driver of the day, easily 17 positions. A great charge from him up the field. Safety car really helping him out. Fat car, was it?
Go with it. Fatia, go with it. Fourth place.
Yes. Mitch fifth, Marcus sixth, Sider seventh, eighth with Denmark, Paul Harrison ninth, and Lewis rounding out our top 10.
Brilliant stuff. A day to forget, unfortunately, for the Red Bull team, who started with a lot of high expectations. Taylor was happy with that. One of his best tracks, he said, and some spins right at the end there. Any takeaways for you, Bacon? Any learnings? Any sort of last minute debrief type thoughts?
I mean, everyone drove pretty good out there, I'd say. Very fair racing, minimal incidents, but when it was an incident, safety car or something, sadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, just great racing overall from everyone by the looks of it.
It was, like I say, I'm very enthused by the fact that we had a full field up to laps 16, 17. So brilliant stuff for a league race. I think the pace in quali was really, really strong at the front, and nice and tight as well. So it kept us guessing through quali. But a good first race for H. Taylor and the Williams team. That was OBF1, OBF1's Tier 1 first race of the season. It will be the same time next week at 8:30 UK time on Wednesday. I think Tier 2 is earlier in the evening on the Wednesday. And a reminder, do tune in to Monday night to see our Power Ranger League or Multiplayer Monday. I've been Webbo. In the commentary box has been Impossible Bacon. Give the video a like and a share and a subscribe if you can. And we will catch you all on the next race day.